Did you know that orcas aren't just big dolphins, but real underwater hunters capable of anything? Recently, they've started showing aggression towards humans as well. Today, you'll learn about instances when these ocean giants literally rebelled and scared everyone to death. These stories will make you see the ocean in a whole new light. Ready? Let's go. Orcus attacked a boat off the coast of Spain. The predators rammed the sailboat and breached its hull. And this is far from the first incident of its kind. Recently, it seems like orcas have declared war on yachts, chasing and sinking them. The crew of the yacht in the Strait of Gibraltar was desperately trying to save their small vessel from sinking. The water had already filled about half of the hold. They had to urgently call the Coast Guard. The reason for everything was a huge hole, the appearance of which was difficult to immediately believe. This is an orca bite. But attacks on yachts don't happen alone. Orcas more often attack in packs. In February 2010, a tragic incident occurred at SeaWorld, located in Orlando, Florida, that still sparks controversy and discussion. That day, a male orca named Tikum dragged his trainer, 40-year-old Dawn Brancho, into the water in front of visitors and inflicted fatal injuries on her. Tikum was born in 1981 and was the largest member of his species held in captivity. That day, a male orca named Tikum dragged his trainer, 40-year-old Dawn Brancho, into the water in front of visitors and inflicted fatal injuries on her. Tikum was born in 1981 and was the largest member of his species held in captivity. He weighed 11,905 pounds and was about 23 feet long. The animal was captured off the coast of Iceland at around 2 years old. On February 24, 2010, the whole world learned about what happened to Tikum. According to witnesses, just seconds before the tragedy, trainer Dawn Brancho was lying face down, face to face with the orca. Suddenly, her hair, tied back in a ponytail, ended up in the animal's mouth. Experts suggest that this could have led to the subsequent events. Tikum pulled the trainer into the water as the audience watched. The staff tried to save her, but it was too late. When the trainer tried to pull her hair out of the orca's mouth, Tikum dragged her into the water in front of a shocked audience. The siren went off, and the staff at the water park rushed to the pool to try to corral the agitated animal with nets, but it was too late. 5 minutes later, Tikum was spotted with the lifeless body in his mouth. Another 20 minutes later, the woman's body was pulled from the pool. The paramedic who arrived on the scene immediately realized that Dawn Brancho was dead. Her scalp had been removed and her neck was broken. That's how tragically the career of the trainer at SeaWorld came to an end, where she had worked for 15 years. Tikum performed without direct contact until... In 2011, he was allowed back into the shows, but this time without direct contact with people. The orca performed in shows until 2016, when he caught a lung infection. In January 2017, Tikum died. In August 2023, videos surfaced online showing sailors in the Strait of Gibraltar near the city of Tarifa defending themselves against orcas surrounding their yacht. This incident escalated a 3-year standoff between marine predators and humans to a whole new level. Environmentalists immediately expressed their outrage, and scientists are once again puzzled as to why orcas are attacking small boats. Similar attacks had happened before, but they were rare, occurring 2 to 3 times a decade and usually didn't lead to serious consequences. Everything changed in May 2020. Since then, there have been hundreds of attacks by orcas on small boats in the waters of Spain and Portugal. Moreover, 3 yachts sank after these attacks. Statistics show that such incidents happen almost every other day. 2 days before the current incident off the coast of Forest, the Orcus attacked the sightseeing boat Santa Barbara in the waters of Portugal and damaged its rudder. The crew tried to scare off the predators by pouring diesel fuel into the water. In the end, the Orcus swam away, and the Santa Barbara was towed by the rescue team. In the Atlantic Ocean, Orcus attacked a vessel and interrupted the sailing yacht race, the Ocean Race. 3 orcas collided with the yacht of Team Jajo on June 22, 2023, as it was approaching the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea on its route from the Netherlands to Italy. For 15 minutes, the predators were hitting the hull of the vessel and swimming around it. 3 orcas swam right up to us and started hitting the steering mechanism. Watching the orcas is thrilling. 3 killer whales swam right up to us and started hitting the steering wheel. Watching orcas is thrilling. They're beautiful animals. But it was a dangerous moment for us as a crew, shared the captain of the vessel, Jelmer van Beek. The race participants lowered their sails to slow down the yacht and started making loud noises to scare off the orcas. According to the team reporter, the whale soon calmed down. As a result of the incident, no one was hurt. Scientists note that orcas that have gotten used to attacking yachts have started teaching this behavior to their peers. They usually target small sailing vessels and use the same tactic. They approach from behind and push the rudder until the boat stops. In most cases, the attacks end without harm to the animals or the yachts. A pod of orcas attacked a blue whale near the Australian town of Brammer Bay. The video featuring these marine animals caught the attention of the Daily Mail. Gemma Sharp, the owner of a whale-watching tour company, found herself witnessing events happening just a few feet away from her. Along with her, there were 40 tourists on board the boat when they became witnesses to a brutal battle. That day, 5 pods of orcas, totaling 75 individuals, gathered in the water upon spotting a blue whale, the largest animal on the planet. There were 40 tourists on board the boat with her when they witnessed the brutal battle. That day, 5 pods of orcas, totaling 75 individuals, gathered in the water upon spotting a blue whale, the largest animal on the planet. The video shows the killer whales rapidly rushing towards the blue whale, jumping out of the water. For 3 hours, the predators worked together to tire out the blue whale, driving it to complete exhaustion. They were trying to flip it on its side to deprive it of the ability to breathe. Sharp noted that this method didn't work, as the blue whale turned out to be too powerful. Then, the lead female orca started biting its tail to distract it. The whole pod lunged at the whale with all their weight, so it couldn't defend itself. Then the lead female orca started biting its tail to distract it. The whole pod lunged at the whale with all their weight, so it couldn't defend itself. We saw the moment when he took his last breath before he went under the water, the Australian said. She added that, despite the tragedy of the situation, observing killer whales hunting is of great value for studying marine life. All those birds, sharks, and black dolphins got vital food, she explained. The tourists on board felt sympathy for both the orcas and the blue whale. The length of a blue whale can reach up to 108 feet, and its weight can exceed 330,000 pounds. The species is listed in the Red Book and is classified as endangered. Cases of orca attacks on boats and yachts are increasing at an alarming rate. Some sailors are so worried that they refuse to go out to sea. Interestingly, the first attacks started relatively recently, in 2020. Since then, 3 yachts have sunk after orca attacks, and about 50 others have been damaged. Spanish scientists think the local population seeks revenge on humans for an incident 2 years ago. We are increasingly convinced our hypothesis is valid. It started with an injured orca trying to stop a yacht. Now, aggression is spreading among orcas, said marine biologist Monica Gonzalez. While her theory has some support, others disagree. This population of large dolphins traditionally hunts only small fish, contradicting her assumptions. For instance, their Antarctic relatives have developed more complex hunting methods. The fact that this population of large dolphins has traditionally hunted only small fish goes against her assumptions. Their relatives from Antarctica, for example, have developed more complex methods of hunting. They create huge waves that break apart and flip ice fields. Their relatives from Antarctica, for example, have developed more complex methods of hunting for food. They create huge waves that destroy and turn over ice fields. And the seals or penguins lounging on the ice become easy prey. These mammals are known for their high level of socialization and their ability to adapt to new conditions. We can observe similar behavior in the Sea of Okhotsk, where they learned to hunt Greenland whales, even though they initially struggled with it. Then they succeeded and started passing their skills down to their offspring. This was explained by Dmitry Glazov, the deputy head of the Beluga, white whale program at the Institute of Ecology and Evolution of the Russian Academy of Sciences. However, the Atlantic population of orcas hadn't engaged in anything like this until recently. Moreover, it's unclear what the purpose of these attacks is. Biologists are pointing out 2 aspects. Animals are very selective in choosing their targets and only attack the plastic parts of yachts, avoiding metal components to prevent injuring themselves, and they show no interest in humans. Their behavior is reminiscent of human behavior. They experiment, make mistakes, explore, and learn. All the attacking orcas were young individuals. I think for them it's just a game, noted biologist Jeff Corwin. These games of the largest dolphins in the world are causing significant economic damage. After their attacks, yachts are often left completely unmanageable. Now, fishermen and sailors are hoping to get recommendations from scientists on how to act in case of an orca attack. However, since this is a new phenomenon, biologists can only suggest avoiding going out to sea, especially at night when orcas are most active. Orcas, also known as killer whales, are the largest members of the dolphin family, found in almost every ocean around the world. Most orcas have an elegant black and white coloration, with a black back, white patches behind their eyes, a white or gray saddle patch behind the dorsal fin, and a white belly. In some populations in Antarctica, the coloration has changed from white to yellowish. Orcas are social animals that live in complex, multi-layered groups. The first level of the social structure is the family group, which consists of a matriarch female, her sons, daughters, and grandchildren, including the young ones. Females can reproduce until they're about 40 to 45 years old and can live up to 90 years. One family can have up to 4 generations. The composition of the family group is stable, and its members rarely separate from each other for more than a few hours. Related families come together in pods, which can range from 10 to 50 individuals, and they spend a significant amount of time together. It's important to note that males rarely mate with females from their own pod. Several packs can form a clan, the members of which communicate in the same dialect. If clans periodically mix with each other, a fourth level of social structure is formed, a community. The social structure of migrating orcas is simpler. They have family groups, and as a result, the pods are smaller, and their members often separate from the group for long periods or even permanently. Males that leave their families sometimes live alone and only join a pod for a short time to mate. For orcas, society plays a key role. This is especially true for males, who, when isolated from their families, tend to die earlier than their more socially active relatives. Interestingly, a long-lived matriarch female who continues to live after menopause contributes to the increased lifespan of her descendants. However, the reasons for this phenomenon remain unclear. Like other social animals, orcas actively interact with each other. They communicate using various sounds, including clicks, whistles, and calls, which are used not only for communication but also for hunting and navigation. It is known that resident northern orcas, in addition to a common dialect that unites pods and clans, each have their own unique vocal signature. Orcas teach their calves the family dialect by repeatedly producing characteristic sounds in the first weeks after the babies are born. The diet of orcas includes about 140 species of birds, mammals, fish, and cephalopods. Depending on their habitat, dolphins specialize in certain types of food. Some prefer to mainly eat fish, others hunt seals and whales, while some catch birds, like penguins. Naturally, the hunting strategy changes depending on their food preferences. For example, orcas living off the coast of Norway, which primarily feed on herring, hunt in groups. They surround a school of fish and, swimming around it, force the fish to gather into a tight ball. To disorient and blind the fish, orcas slap the water with their tails and spin around, showing off their white bellies and black backs. The population of orcas living in the North Atlantic prefers to feed on pinnipeds. These orcas hunt in families. They patrol the coast looking for prey or stand guard near nurseries where seals give birth. Orcas push seals that are trying to hide on small ice floes into the ocean using water currents. Pinnipeds, in turn, escape from orcas by hiding in shallow waters where orcas don't go. Moreover, seals have learned to recognize the sounds made by orcas and can warn about the approach of predators 2 to 3 days before humans do. Moreover, seals can distinguish between the dialects of different orca populations and do not respond to the signals of familiar fish-eating dolphins. Orcas also hunt their fellow cetaceans. Canadian Eskimos say that dolphins hunt Greenland whales, which are much larger than they are, as well as narwhals and belugas. Orcas drown the Greenland whale by preventing it from surfacing or blocking its airways. Orcas can strike with their tails, trying to break a whale's ribs and essentially eat it alive by tearing chunks of flesh from its belly. Orcas attack narwhals and belugas in a similar way, but they prefer to target female narwhals and their calves, avoiding males that could injure them with their tusks. Orcas are one of the few marine animals with a mixed reputation. Everyone knows that dolphins are our friends and sharks our enemies, but when it comes to orcas, there's no clear opinion. It turns out they're not as harmless as they seem. And now, friends, I want to make you an interesting offer. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, you can voice over videos in Russian, English, and other languages. Or you can write interesting scripts. We would be happy to work with you. Message our Telegram bot. The link is in the description. That's all for today. Bye.